Formula E racer Sam Bird says Ferrari has been intimidated by Red Bull's speed and is making risky decisions as a result. With Ferrari taking advantage of the early virtual safety car at Monza, Charles Leclerc faced a tough mountain to climb as he faced a 40-lap stint on medium tyres. Unsurprisingly, despite Leclerc regaining the lead when Verstappen pitted at the halfway point of the race, Verstappen swiftly closed the distance back up to Leclerc. However, there was no on-track combat because Ferrari brought Leclerc in for a second stop before Verstappen reached within striking distance. With Ferrari caught in a sub-optimal strategy following the VSC,
we will finish the race behind the safety car.
Bird believes the Scuderia is approaching the race with the mindset that they are simply slower than the Red Bull. I come away from the race again just a bit disappointed. We didn't see more from what could have been a great fight, he said on the BBC's Checkered Flag podcast. I just feel like that decision to pit under the virtual safety car for me was the wrong call. I understand Max Verstappen was coming towards Charles Leclerc, but he wasn't coming at him at a massive rate of knots. It was a couple of tenths a lap. Now, with Verstappen not pitting or opting not to pit, why did Ferrari? It's like they're scared of Red Bull now, like they're so worried about the pace Verstappen has underneath him, that they feel like they need to do something outside the box to win one race now. They could have held the lead for another 7 or 8 laps because it's very difficult to pass actually at Monza. Contrary to belief, you get in the dirty air. Although you've got DRS, when you've got someone that's producing similar lap time to you just kind of sit there. You get bogged into this dirty air and can't do much about it. Leclerc, could have held the lead and then they could have pitted at the same time and it could have been a good old boxing match for the last 10 laps. But we got denied that by the decision to pit early and then Leclerc had to pit again and that was never going to work. After the race, Leclerc explained that Ferrari's first choice had always been to try to capitalize on a VSC intervention due to the much smaller time loss during an expected one-stop race. Ferrari's choice simply did not pay off as the VSC conditions were lifted while Leclerc was still in the pits, reducing the expected time advantage. I get that decision and there's a lot of very intelligent people working at Ferrari on that, Bird said. But then why go to the medium? When you know your nearest rival will then prolong his stay on the soft tyres at the beginning of the race to then go to the medium, you're leaving Leclerc an awful lot of work to do on a medium for over 40 laps of the race. I think that was the wrong call. The Jaguar Formula E driver said he feels the end of the season will be a disappointing one for the Scuderia and the Tifosi. Yet again, and I love Ferrari, and it pains me to say this, Ferrari unfortunately has fallen away in a year that looks so promising, he said. They have done it before when Sebastian Vettel drove for them quite a few years ago. Again, this year they look promising, but they don't seem to have that ability to continue the development mid-phase through the season. And also, mistakes are in there. There have been too many errors this year. Even before the Monza Grand Prix, Red Bull alarmed and perplexed Formula One opponent Ferrari with its performance at the Belgian Grand Prix and the pace of its car on the straights and in the turns. Despite starting 14th on the grid due to a penalty, Max Verstappen dominated the Spa race and drove a Red Bull 1-2, beating teammate Sergio Perez by 18 seconds. Max Verstappen is undeniably a one-of-a-kind driver. We would appreciate if you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get notified when we add a new video in the future. Ferrari was already anxious after qualifying, which Verstappen fully controlled, and the manner of the race only heightened that fear. Charles Leclerc finished 6th after starting one position behind Verstappen on the grid, although his race was disrupted by an early pit stop due to a visor tear-off believed to be from Verstappen of all people. Leclerc finished 5th on the road, but was penalised 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane for a pit stop he did not want to do. But such is the spotlight on Red Bull's blistering speed that Leclerc returned to it during post-race media briefings. He called it more irritating and something we need to work on, adding that Ferrari did not have an immediate answer for why it had such a large deficit. We need to look a little bit more at the overall weekend, Leclerc said. It's been a very difficult weekend. If you look at Red Bull, they were on another level. They found something this weekend that is a bit worrying for us because for now, we don't exactly understand. They are still extremely quick in the straights and it looks like they have no downforce. But when they get onto the corners, they're as quick as us or quicker, so it's a bit worrying. The Spa circuit contains high-speed first and last sectors, while the middle section of the lap has a variety of bends. During practice, Ferrari tested an aggressive, low downforce wing, but elected to use the higher downforce variant on both cars for the race. Spa normally necessitates teams to choose between higher and lower downforce setups. But as Leclerc mentioned, the speed of Verstappen's Red Bull looked ominous across the lap. Verstappen got the second fastest first sector in qualifying, as well as the quickest sectors 2 and 3, 3/10 faster than the next fastest driver, Leclerc, in the middle sector. Verstappen was also faster than the Ferraris in all 3 sections of the race. His edge in Sector 1 was more than 2/10, 3/10 in Sector 2, and 1/10 in Sector 3. The Red Bull RB18 appears to be an incredibly efficient car with a high downforce, drag ratio, and an excellent power plant. What is more concerning for me is to see that they have been capable of running a lower downforce but still having a great type of speed in the middle sector where you need downforce, said Ferrari team boss Mattia Binotto. So I think they've got both of it, which is back to the efficiency. They've got low drag and great downforce on the car. Leclerc described it as weird to see Red Bull become so much faster than anyone, especially when the margins between other teams, in his opinion, have remained essentially unaltered. When questioned about the race at Zandvoort the next weekend, he said, "First and foremost, I cannot wait to go there and get back into the car and maybe see some development. But before we think about progress, we need to understand where it is coming from. And for now, it's a big question mark because if you look at the midfield also, the gap is more or less the same as it's been for the first part of the season. It's just Red Bull is so much quicker than everybody, so yeah, it's strange." Leclerc confessed that the championship is certainly looking really difficult now, after falling points behind Verstappen and being passed by Sergio Perez of Red Bull. However, Binotto believes Ferrari will be more competitive in future races since he is more certain that this was a track-specific incident, and believes Ferrari was also hampered by poor tyre management. "It has been a true difference between us and the Red Bulls this weekend," Binotto admitted. "Simply, today the Red Bull is a faster car compared to what we've got, in terms of overall efficiency, because Spa is where you need efficiency, from the aerodynamics and the power unit. But more than that, we had a lot of tyre degradation we need to look into. They have been stronger as well in terms of tyre degradation, so I don't think it has been an outlier." Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto feels the team still has enough speed to compete with Red Bull in the remaining races. Following a dismal race at the Hungaroring before the summer break, Ferrari delivered another underwhelming performance at the Belgian Grand Prix. Despite finishing third, Sainz was unable to match the Red Bull's pace, while 6th place Leclerc struggled to push his way through the field as rapidly as eventual winner Max Verstappen, who claimed the lead after passing 12 cars in the opening 12 laps. Binotto believes Ferrari's pace shortfall was exacerbated at the high-speed circuit, with the team able to identify their flaws and concentrate on reducing the gap in the coming races. "I think that today the Red Bull is simply a fast car compared to what we've got in terms of overall efficiency, because Spa is where you need efficiency from the aerodynamics and power unit," Binotto told media. "But more than that, we have a lot of tyre degradation which we need to look into, as they have also been stronger in terms of tyre degradation. Certainly, the gap we have seen today is not the gap we will have in the next races. I think Spa is always amplifying the gaps because it's a long track." According to Binotto, the major problem hurting Ferrari's performance on track has been tyre degradation, which both drivers experienced extensively during the Belgian GP. Do you think Red Bull will be able to keep up with their speed in the 2023 season? Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of our incredible videos. Keep an eye out for the next video. Bye for now.